Well, a very warm welcome to everyone joining us this evening. Welcome to the second webinar in our brand new Women's Health webinar series. Today's topic is all about thriving through menopause. So my name's Emma and I'm part of the team at DR.VEGAN. And we also have with us today as our guest webinar hosts, actually another Emma Watts, the Menopause Mentor, and Sue, who is one of the nutritionists here at DR.VEGAN. She is also part of the customer services team. So some of you here may have had the pleasure of emailing Sue at some point. So a big welcome to both of you and thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Emma will be covering all things to do with menopause and the steps you can take to make your menopause journey as smooth as possible. And Sue will be discussing the role of nutrition in menopause and how you can balance your hormones naturally through diet and supplements, as well as what foods and lifestyle habits you can incorporate into your daily routine. Just before I hand over to Emma, I want to remind everyone to please feel free to ask any questions along the way using the question box down on the right-hand side. These questions can only be seen by us, so there's no need to worry about other people seeing them if they're perhaps a bit confidential, but please do make sure that you're adding them to the question section rather than the chat section, as this is public. So they're right down next to each other in the bottom right-hand corner. We will probably only have time to go through a few questions. So if yours doesn't get answered, or if there is a question that you don't feel comfortable asking on here, then please head to our website, where you'll find lots and lots of helpful resources around the menopause. We have a really fantastic menopause hub with lots of information and insightful articles, survey data, etc. So please make sure to check that out. You can also reach out to the DR.VEGAN team, but as I say, we would really encourage you to consult our website first. Or if your question is specific to Emma or to Sue, you can reach out to them directly. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Emma, the Menopause Mentor, who's going to be taking us through the menopause in a bit more detail. So over to you, Emma.
Thank you, Emma. So hello and good evening, everybody. As Emma said, I'm Emma Watts and I am the Menopause Mentor. I'm a menopause practitioner. I am a multi-award-winning personal trainer and clinical nutritionist with over 23 years experience in the health and fitness industry. So I wanted to start by going through something very, very basic. Let's talk about what the menopause actually is. I think there's a lot of misleading information out there, and I know from working with so many ladies that a lot of us don't understand what actually the menopause is, what our bodies are going through, and how we can best support our changing body as it goes through this transition. So there are two types of menopause. You have natural and you have surgical. So natural is the gradual process over months or even years, up to a decade, where your body goes through this very slow transition where it loses its ability to menstruate and fall pregnant. It's a very natural progression. Some people suffer very badly through this period. Some women sail through it. Then you've got surgical menopause. This happens very, very rapidly or literally overnight from when you've had your ovaries removed. So basically your body is no longer creating estrogen provided from the ovaries as they're removed through surgery. And unfortunately, you will go through the menopause very suddenly, which can have a huge impact on your health, your lifestyle, and lots of other elements of your life. There are 3 stages to the menopause. You have the peri, which is as the body starts to transition from its ability to have babies to no longer menstruating. That then leads us up to our final point, which is our menopause phase, which is when your body has had its last period. And we consider a woman to be menopausal when she has not had a period for 12 consecutive months. And that's not even a show or a little bleed. There's been no sign of menstruating for 12 months. And then you've got postmenopause, which is when your body has completely gone through those 12 months. You are completely menopausal and you are coming out the other side, not to have any periods again. So the most common question I am asked is about HRT. I was asked recently, am I pro or against HRT? I'm pro the woman, and this is why I stress to every single one of my patients and clients that HRT is unique to each individual woman. There are 3 types, which is estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. They are administered in a range of different ways. There's over 50 products on the market, and they're gels, pessaries, patches, creams, IUDs, which are like the Marina coil. There's so many different ways that this can be administered. Now, estrogen only HRT is generally given to women who have had a full hysterectomy or no longer have their ovaries or their womb. They've got cyclical HRT, which is progesterone and estrogen, where you take estrogen all month long, but you take progesterone in 2-week phases. And then you've got testosterone coming into that as well. Now, testosterone isn't readily available on the NHS. The only way that I have found that any of my ladies that are requiring testosterone is to go into their GPs and state that they have massive loss of libido. They then seem to be able to get HRT on prescription. One of the most common questions I'm asked is whether I would recommend body identical or bioidentical HRT. So, and there's a lot of misunderstanding about what these two are. So, body identical is delivered in set doses and are molecularly identical to the hormones produced by your body. These are prescribed by the NHS and they are readily available now, thank goodness, to women that require them. Whereas bioidentical is fairly new. It's derived from plant-based products, which obviously phytoestrogens, which I'm going to touch on shortly, and I'm sure Sue will as a nutritionist shortly. But phytoestrogens are nature's identical estrogen to what we create in our body, and bioidentical, although it's synthetic, it's derived from plants, but it's not regulated, it's not been tested, and there are no scientific findings that it is better, worse, or equal to body identical HRT. Then you've got holistic alternatives. So as I mentioned, a diet and high plant phytoestrogens is really vital because, as I said, these mimic the estrogen developed by your body and produced by your body. And you get these in soy, get these in green leafy veg, you can get them in edamame beans. So there's a wealth of items that you can eat that can actually support the declining estrogen in your body. You've got herbal remedies and obviously supplements. Obviously, one of my favourite is Perifriend and Menofriend from DR.VEGAN. I've recommended those to many of my clients. One of whom was taking HRT from the age of 24 when she had to have a full hysterectomy after a difficult birth. And she came to me at the age of 59, still on that HRT. And at 64, she's finally decided to come off of that because she felt that she'd never been reviewed, never been looked after. So I put her onto Menofriend. I recommended it, and the customer care at DR.VEGAN were amazing in supporting her, and she feels fabulous. She's not suffering with any symptoms anymore, and that's from a personal statement, not just findings or feedback. She's actually said those words to me. So I know that product has supported many of my clients. You've got acupuncture, you've got aromatherapy, yoga, meditation, CBT, breathing techniques, hypnosis. There are so many alternative therapies out there if you are unable to take HRT, which many of my clients are because they've either had breast cancer, which is hormone fed breast cancer, so they're on tamoxifen, so are unable to take any other or able to take supplements or any other products. So there's a wealth of other avenues you can explore. So symptoms. This is endless. This is one of those subjects where if you get talking about it, the list goes on and on. At the moment, there's round about 50 to 60 known symptoms of the menopause. And the most common ones we know of are hot flushes, fatigue, mood swings, brain fog, disturbed sleep, weight gain, irregular periods, facial hair, aches and pains, migraines, bloating. The list goes on. But there are some lesser known symptoms which I've encountered with some of my patients and clients that you may not have heard of, but you may be suffering with that you didn't expect to be related to the menopause. And these are a burning dry mouth. You might find that your mouth becomes drier than normal. Frozen shoulder, heart palpitations, a change in body odor, a change in sense of smell, imposter syndrome, where you just feel that you're not good enough or you're not reaching the level of adequacy that you once believed you had, itchy skin, vaginal sensitivity, the list goes on. So if you are concerned that something you are experiencing may be related to the menopause, be sure to seek the advice of a professional or speak to your GP. Also, be aware of triggers. I recommend that all of my patients and clients keep a diary of their symptoms. So, for example, if you've been feeling great all week and then on Friday night you go out for dinner with some friends and you have an Indian and you drink too much wine, and the next day your symptoms are aggravated and far worse, you can then relate it back to the food that you ate or the alcohol you drank or the way you treated your body previously. Has that had some impact? And then you can monitor and gauge what's going to trigger you. If it's migraines and headaches that you suffer with, I always say watch out for the 5 C's, which is claret, red wine, chocolate, citrus, cheese, and caffeine. They are 5 highly aggravating elements that you can put into your body that can aggravate your symptoms. So that leads me on to exercise. So, as we all know, exercise is important for our bodies and so beneficial in so many ways at all ages of our lives. But this becomes even more vital as we go through our peri and menopausal phases of our lives. The benefits of exercise through your menopause includes improved heart health, improved bone density, weight management, improved flexibility, mobility, reduced aches and pains. It increases your libido as well because it provides extra blood flow. So that loss of sensitivity or feeling that you might have in your vagina when it comes to being intimate with your partner, that can improve that too. It improves your sleep and improves your digestion as well, because your digestive tract is actually surrounded by muscles, and we need that to actually we move around to actually move the toxins and the waste through our digestive system. There are exercise types, so there's a range to choose from out there. But if you are new to exercise, which a lot of my clients and ladies are, they don't know where to start. So I always recommend these elements that you introduce on a daily basis. So look for strength training or resistance training. I'm not talking about going to weight gym and throwing heavy weights around like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just be body resistant. So just some squats, just some wall press ups. Use your own body weight. Use resistance bands. I love a TRX, which is like a suspension handles that hangs from your door frame. There's lots to choose from, but use weight where you put your muscles under strain, where you have to push, pull, twist, move, so your body gets a full range of mobility and your muscles are placed under stress and tension for a short period of time. I recommend this between 2 to 5 times a week if possible. Then look to increase your steps. We're aiming for 10,000 steps a day, but don't panic. If you're starting at, say, 5,000 steps at the moment, try and over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks, increase that to 6,000 steps. Don't try and jump in at the deep end, because you're likely to either injure yourself, hurt yourself, which will then just set you back even further. So start by doing it gently. And what we're aiming for is 10,000 steps a day, aiming for round about 100 steps per minute, which is the British Journal of Sports Medicine's recommendation. So 100 steps per minute is what you're aiming for. So a nice fast-paced march, no running, just keep it nice and smooth, put some music on, grab a friend and get out into the fresh air. Like I said, start slowly and progress, but you can also start with dancing. So I'm launching something for November through Mental Health Awareness Month, where I'm going to pop up several songs, and I'm just going to encourage people to dance in their kitchen, in their bedrooms, in their gardens, with their husbands, partners, kids, just for those 3 minutes to dance around to that song. Those 3 minutes might not seem like a lot, and in the scheme of things, 3 minutes is gone like that. But if you move and dance and jiggle and get your heart rate up for those 3 minutes, it's going to be beneficial for you in every way. You've got swimming. I'm a lover of boxing. I've boxed for many, many years. I love cycling. You've got Tai Chi, you've got Pilates. There's so many things out there to choose from. And a big misconception is just because we're going through our menopause doesn't mean we need to be wrapped in cotton wool. We don't need to be. I'm still running obstacle courses and running out in muddy puddles. It's what I love and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy paddleboarding. Go and try something new. Be sure to seek the advice of a professional if it's something you've never done before, or you could be putting yourself at risk. But go out there and explore, have fun. Just because we're going through the menopause doesn't mean the fun has to stop. So the big one that so many ladies come to me about is weight management. Um, Unfortunately, with declining estrogen, our body's changes its source, primary source of estrogen, which are our ovaries. As our ovaries start to reduce their capability to produce estrogen, our bodies look to get that from elsewhere, and the source that it takes that from is our fat, our body fat. And that is why we tend to find that we put this lovely big tire on around our tummies, because our body's trying to find ways to balance our hormones naturally using our fat stores. But our body's not ready to give up those fat stores yet, so it seeks it by storing more fat, especially around your midriff. So firstly, look at your lifestyle choices. Look at 1 or 2 or 3 things that you could change that would make a huge difference to how you manage your weight. Reduce your stress is a huge one. Our bodies release cortisol, which is a stress hormone, which is indicative of weight gain. So the more stressed we are, the more likely we are to store body fat. So try to find ways to meditate, relax. Walking, obviously, again, is one of my favorite things to do for stress release. Music, yoga is wonderful, and so is Pilates. Increase your exercise, which obviously I was talking about previously. The more lean muscle mass we have, the more our metabolic rate heightens. So our body has to work harder to maintain muscle mass. It doesn't have to work very hard to hold on to fat. So try and keep your energy output at optimum if you can, and keep yourself as active as possible. A healthy diet containing protein, complex carbs, and good fats, which obviously I'm not going to touch too much on, because obviously we've got the lovely Sue discussing that shortly. Reduce your alcohol, your salt, and processed foods if you can. I'm very partial to a gin and tonic at the weekends, and I'm too long in the tooth now to give that up. I like it too much, but I'm going to be everything in moderation. So I'm going to be sure that if I have had a few gin and tonics, I'm going to down a big 2 pints of water before I go to bed. I'll be up peeing all night, but rather that than feeling very sluggish, bloated the next day. Keep your caffeine to a minimum. Again, this releases cortisol. If you are rather partial to an espresso, which I am, try and exchange that for green teas where possible, because they still have caffeine in them, but not to the level of, say, an espresso, which is going to release cortisol in your brain. And obviously gut health, which is really, really vital. Again, I take it myself personally, so I speak from experience. Although all the roles that I do, and I'm very, very active, my body, I'm 49, I'm very nearly 50, and my body's perimenopausal, and it's going, oh, come on, let's store a little bit of extra fat. The one thing I have found is an absolute miracle for me personally, and for many of my clients and patients, is the GutWorks product from DR.VEGAN. I've even got my husband on it now. He's very reluctant to take any tablets, but he is now taking it. So gauge your progress, measure. Don't weigh yourself. Weighing is very misleading. So get on a pair of trousers that are a little bit snug around the waist so you can't do them up. Use those to gauge. Take some before photos. It's very hard. You'll always see a friend who's lost weight and you'll go, wow, you look amazing. But we never see ourselves that way because we look at ourselves every day over and over again. So take a photo of you in these trousers, a skirt, whatever it is that's too snug, too tight, and then take a photo in 3 to 4 weeks. Don't do it every week. Gauge it over 3 to 4 week period, or measure yourself round your belly button, part of your waist, round your hips, which is the biggest, widest part of your bottom, and across your bust. That's the easiest way to gauge your weight loss. Okay, hey, hot stuff. It's not pleasant. We all suffer with hot flushes. Some of my patients and ladies suffer with them all day long, others just at night. It is unfortunately one of the most common symptoms of the menopause that I'm approached about very regularly. So most importantly, keep your hydration levels at a high. I recommend to all my ladies that I drink a minimum of 3 litres of water a day. That does sound very, very large amount of water. But if you space it out over the course of the day, I always keep a very small glass about this big, and I will have one of those every half an hour to 40 minutes. It's achievable then. If someone chucked a 3 litre bottle of water in front of me, I'd be the first one gagging, going, I can't drink all that. Make it achievable. Small measures will allow you to take small steps to make one big journey to your 3 litres per day. Wear natural fibres. Try and avoid any synthetic fibres, man-made fibres. They are going to hold the heat in and make you very sweaty because they don't allow your body to breathe. So we're looking for linen, cotton, silk, and bamboo. The bamboo pajamas and bedding that's on the market now is absolutely wonderful, and it's from a very beautifully sourced item as well. So it's not in it's not a risk at the moment. So bamboo bedding is wonderful. Make sure you dress it in layers, because you'll find if you have got sweaty, you may get a little bit damp and then we might get cold through the night. So layer, layer, layer. Keep a bedroom window cracked open slightly so you've got a fresh air flow through your bedroom, and aim for a temperature of around about 20 degrees. So if it is getting colder through the winter and you do have a thermostat on your radiator, don't set it any higher than 19 to 20 degrees, because otherwise it will just aggravate and bring on the hot sweats. Keep a water spray nearby. One of my clients has a fan that actually has a water spray on it as well. So as she sprays, the fan then obviously reacts with the water, cooling her down even more. I know that green tea is brilliant for reducing hot sweats, and I know that this is in Meno and Peri-Friend as well. So if you are suffering with hot sweats and you haven't yet tried those products, if you're perimenopausal, go with the Peri-Friend. If you're menopause, go with the Meno friend. So, one of the more sensitive subjects that I'm approached about quite regularly, and this is loss of libido and loss of sex drive. I think as women, we are more open. Back in the day, or going to Anne Summers parties, I think we're a little bit more open to speak about sex and intimacy more openly than, say, our grandmothers did. I was very lucky. My mother was very open, and we had very open conversations. So I'm not afraid to speak about anything sexual related. So if there is anybody that has any questions and they're not comfortable putting it in the webinar or want to speak, then feel free to contact me. But libido, loss of libido occurs as a woman's estrogen and testosterone levels reduce. We actually have a lot of testosterone in our body when we're going through puberty and when we're able to conceive. Now, if you are finding your libido has dropped dramatically, do go and see your GP, because they may well prescribe you some testosterone. First thing I recommend to any of my patients or clients that come to me with regards to loss of libido is to keep an open line of communication with your partner. Intimacy is the one thing that connects you and keeps your relationship differentiated from any other relationship you have in your life. Being intimate, sharing intimate moments with each other, skin to skin contact, and contact with that person in a way that you don't have contact with anybody else. So, firstly, make sure you speak and keep an open line of dialogue between you. Talk about how you're feeling, discuss how you're frustrated or upset, or your body is feeling this way, and how you would like to take steps to get back to feeling intimate again and rebuilding that. Ensure that you have a lot of intimacy. So dance together, take a bath together, a shower, massage is always wonderful. Even if it's just a foot rub, anywhere where there's skin to skin contact is really, really important. Um, Foreplay is a must. So remember when you first met your partner and it was all very fumbly, and you started slowly to build to that moment where you did actually have first intercourse together. Go back to that. Start with the 2 hours of snogging in the back of the car. Go back to all those wonderful times, which will reinitiate that wonderful love you had for each other and bring back memories of when you first met. But also it will reignite those original feelings of passion for each other and excitement. Obviously, there are shop bought lubricants and toys. I've got a very good lady that has done some vlogs for me from Anne Summers, who encourages a lot of ladies. She's a menopausal lady, and she encourages ladies to start masturbating again, because obviously, if you aren't feeling that you're getting a response down there, you know your body better than anybody else. So by reawakening yourself and rediscovering yourself, you may find new ways to gain pleasure and excitement from intimacy. Worst case scenario, obviously speak to your GP and with regards to the loss of libido, and you can look at possibly HRT and testosterone. So disturbed sleep. 60% of women suffer with disturbed sleep, whether it's trouble getting to sleep, staying asleep, the dreaded 3 a.m. wake up, which I'm queen of every night. 3 a.m. my bladder wakes me up, slaps me around the face and says, right, get up, come on, we need the loo. It is very common, and unfortunately, it is part of parcel, especially with the bladder. Going to the toilet, I've had 4 children, so my bladder's never been the same ever since. But there are certain steps that you can take. Obviously, going back to when we talked about hot sweats through the night, make sure you have a great bedroom hygiene. Make sure your bedroom is this haven of serenity where you can go in, relax, light candle. Obviously, please, fire safety and all that, be aware. Aromatherapy, lavender in your pillow. Just make sure you have a very calming environment. Keep the window open slightly. Fresh bedding always really helps. Again, make sure it's bamboo, silk, linen, or cotton. So I get all of my ladies to follow the 10-3-2-1-0 rule. That is the 10 hours before bed, no caffeine. 3 hours before bed, no food. 2 hours before bed, no work. So that obviously allows the brain to deactivate and calm and not be so heightened. 1 hour before bed, no screens or devices. Just read a book. And 0, get into bed, whether it's do some meditation, some stretching, some deep breathing, have some aromatherapy oils. And there's some wonderful products out there. I'm a real lover of chamomile and lavender. Have a herbal tea if you want to have something just to calm you, and read a good book. Books are always really, really good to calm the mind. Don't read anything that's too exciting, like a murder thriller, because that's just going to heighten your brain again. Meditation, breathing, yoga, try and just keep everything very, very calm, very relaxed. You can also take magnesium and potassium. This will help. And also tryptophan, which isn't really found readily available in foods, but you can get an extract. It's found in cherries, but there's not a large amount in those. But tryptophan is a brilliant extract that you can use to actually help you get some extra sleep. And last one. So nutrition. So I'm only going to touch on this briefly. Nutrition is key to thriving through your menopause. The old saying, "We are what we eat," is so, so true. A healthy diet of protein, complex carbohydrates, and good fats is vital. I know a lot of people want to cut out complex carbohydrates because they think it's going to help them lose weight. The reason it's carbohydrate is because we need carbs to actually allow us to hydrate our body. So make sure you're including all three major food groups to keep your body sustained and energized with everything it needs to allow you to navigate your menopausal journey with more ease. Avoid the alcohol and processed foods and salts. Maintain good gut health, and obviously supplements. And obviously, as I've mentioned, my favorites are the Peri-Meno Friends from Dr. Vegan and the Gut Works. I'm going to hand you over to Sue, because obviously Sue is the Dr. Vegan nutritionist. Ladies, it's been wonderful to speak to you all. I am Emma Watts, the Menopause Mentor. You can find me at themenopausementor.com. I have a free ladies only menopause group on Facebook with over 600 ladies. So if any of you would like to join that, please obviously get in touch with Dr. Vegan, and I'm sure they'll send you the link for that. But I'm here on hand to support you all through your menopausal journey.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for that, Emma. That was really, really insightful, and I'm sure there are some great takeaways there for everyone who's joined us this evening.
Thank you.
So I'm now going to pass on to Sue, who is going to talk everyone through the link between nutrition and...
Okay. Thank you, Emma, and thank you, Emma. It's a real pleasure to be here. Good evening, everybody. And my name is Sue Potgieter, and I am one of the nutritionists at Dr. Vegan. I'm also a naturopath. So if you ever email customer service, then it's quite likely that I will be replying to you. We are human, and we do understand the stuff that you go through, particularly menopause. I slammed into surgical menopause, or into menopause, when I was 40 because I had to have a full hysterectomy due to fibroids, and I didn't know what had hit me. But over a period of time, I realized that HRT wasn't for me, and so I took control of my body and restored how I was feeling, my optimal balance through nutrition. And it is possible to do that. Now, in the Eastern world, menopause is looked on as a rite of passage, just as starting puberty and moving through into childbearing years, and then through transitioning from that as an older, mature woman. It's seen as a rite of passage, and it's seen as a very positive experience, because older women in the Eastern cultures are looked on with respect. They have life experience, they have wisdom, they have maturity. And so there is that respect. And funnily enough, in those areas of the world, menopausal symptoms are far less. Whereas in the Western world, we kind of have lost that, what I would call ancient view of life, the rites of passage. And so we live in a very fast-paced, stressed world. And so we deal with some of the other things that go on. But if we firstly change our attitude towards this whole transitional time of our lives and see it as a really positive time, then a lot of the stuff that people suffer with tends to reduce a bit. It's not such a big, scary thing if we look at it as a positive time, that we've brought up children, that when I hit 50, I decided that I would celebrate what I had done in my 50 years. And I had a list as long as this. And it completely changed my attitude to turning 50. So I want to encourage you to firstly begin to think about this time that you maybe are beginning to go through or going through, and find the positives in it rather than the negatives. Yes, there's the hot flushes and all the stuff that Emma has so eloquently spoken about. But I just want to encourage you, find the positives. Find the positives every day. Be grateful and be amazed at what you are as a woman, what you've done as a woman in your life so far, because we handle a lot of stuff. So how does nutrition help us? Well, it helps us to manage menopausal symptoms because the fact is that as our estrogen levels decrease, the risk of chronic diseases increases. And therefore, nutritional support is an essential element in preventing those diseases. Now, you may have been asked for a bone density scan, and that's because bone health is vital. And Emma touched on this with regards to exercise. But when estrogen levels drop, the risk of osteoporosis rises. Osteoporosis just means that your bones lose some density, and therefore there's a potential for fractures and for fragility. With the addition of calcium and vitamin D, which you can find in leafy greens and also in cruciferous veg, that's your brassicas, so that's your broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Those actually have more absorbable calcium than dairy. Now, I'm not making an assumption here that all of you who are joining the webinar or who may join the webinar are vegan, because 80% of our customers at DR.VEGAN are not vegan. They're either vegetarian, lacto-vegetarian, pescatarian, flexitarian, or carnivores or omnivores. And so we provide clean supplements and education for across the spectrum. We don't test on animals. We don't believe in anything to do with the harm of animals. We're all about saving the planet, which is why we're plastic-free, compostable pouches. But we do speak to a wide range of customers. But those leafy greens and the cruciferous veg do contain more absorbable calcium than dairy products. Lots of sunshine in the summer. As winter comes on, there isn't enough, the sun isn't high enough above the horizon for our bodies to convert into the sunshine into vitamin D. And so vitamin D supplementation is, I would recommend it during the winter. Now, the thing about vitamin D levels is I would say test rather than guess as to whether you should add one in. You can have a vitamin D test once a year at your GP to find out what your levels are. And it's amazing how many people are on the low side. And that can have a knock-on effect on all kinds of things. Obviously, it's important for immune system, but also for your hormonal health and bone health. You can also get private vitamin D tests for about £30 so that you can find out what you need. And then you can always email us, team@drvegan.com, to find out whether we would advise you to add in a single vitamin D supplement. Emma's spoken about weight gain. I'd just like to say that when your ovaries stop producing estrogen, it's not only your belly that starts to produce estrogen and become its own endocrine organ, but your adrenal glands, which are situated on the top of your kidneys, take over the role of producing estrogen. It's a small amount, but it's still very vital. However, if you are highly stressed, you've got a stressful job, you've got young children, you've had them late in life, you've got a stressful relationship, finances are stressful, then it's your adrenal glands that take the hit. And what happens is there is a upriver effect and a downriver effect. So downriver would be your reproductive organs, your ovaries, but upriver would be your thyroid. And often women who go through stress or through menopause will find that they may be having some thyroid issues, and those can be reduced if you look after your adrenal glands. Magnesium, vitamin C, vitamin B5 are the three nutrients that are necessary to look after your adrenal glands. And obviously reducing stress through all the things that Emma spoke about: meditation, deep breathing, walking, relaxing, listening to music. They're all super important. Hot flushes, avoid your known triggers that can drive the severity. Spicy foods, coffee, alcohol, sugar. Sugar, whether it's in your coffee, in your tea, but also hidden sugars that you can find in soups. They're in salad dressings. They're in all kinds of things these days. And I'd like to encourage you, start to look at your food labels. When you're shopping, pick up a food product, turn it over, look at the back. It says carbohydrates, of which sugars, and then it will tell you how many grams of sugar per 100 grams. You're really looking for 5 grams or less per 100 grams. Otherwise, your pancreas and insulin all has to come in. Otherwise, you get those blood sugar spikes, then you get the crashes, then you get that roller coaster where you're feeling fatigue, you've got no energy, then you grab for coffee, or you grab for a biscuit with your tea or a piece of cake in the afternoon. So start to read the food labels. Fatigue, hormone levels drop. If you're highly stressed, if you're drinking lots of coffee or alcohol, eating lots of sugar, that all leads again to this roller coaster of insulin and cortisol in the body. And then you just feel tired all the time. And menopausal fatigue can be really, really difficult to shake. So, did you know that before, during, and after menopause, your gut helps to regulate your hormone levels, your mood, and your weight? That's because your gut's made up of a community of bacteria called the gut microbiome. Now, you may well have heard a lot of advertising and education about the gut microbiome. It's really very recent, over the last few years, since we've understood it. But you have 4 pounds of bacteria in your gut, plus parasites, plus fungi, plus yeasts. And you have, I don't like to call them good and bad bacteria, but it's the easiest way to refer to them. If you have plenty of good bacteria in your gut, they're very happy. You don't have bloating. You go to the toilet easily. Your moods are good. Your weight is regulated. If you have an imbalance called dysbiosis, where you have more of the pathogenic or bad bacteria, then you may find that you crave sugar. Why? Because they love sugar. And so they're going, feed me, give me sugar, give me sugar. So sometimes when you are craving sugar, please, please don't feel that it's your willpower, that you don't have the willpower, that it must be something wrong with you. Get your gut health sorted and you'll find that your cravings will naturally melt away. It's purely the gut bacteria, the bad ones, going, feed me, I want sugar. Now, within that gut microbiome, you have specialized microbes that work on supporting the metabolism of estrogen. And it's a catch-22. If your gut microbiome is good, then your hormone, the balance of your hormones is kept just going along really nicely. If you have dysbiosis and everything's in a bit of a pickle in your gut, then your hormones are going to be all over the place. Your moods will be bad. You'll be maybe suffering from bloating, from stomach cramps, from farting, from diarrhea or constipation, or all kinds of gut issues, acid reflux, all those kinds of things. One of the things about the metabolism of estrogen is that the liver is involved, and your liver detoxes estrogen, and then it's excreted through your poo. Now, if your liver is struggling because maybe you've had a night out of partying, like Emma says, make sure you drink plenty of water afterwards. We talk about 80% and 20%. Eat healthily 80% of the time, 20% of the time. Enjoy yourself. Have that chocolate mousse, have that drink and enjoy it. Don't feel like you shouldn't have it. Don't feel you need to deny yourself, because it's all about balance with all of this. So your estrogen is metabolized by your liver, but if your gut microbiome isn't healthy, then old estrogen gets recycled and gets reabsorbed in the body and then throws everything out of whack. So your gut health, your gut holds the key to a lot of things in your life. So supplements that we would suggest, our DR.VEGAN Gut Works, which should be taken 20 minutes before food with water, away from hot food and away from hot drinks. It's a prebiotic and a probiotic. Prebiotic is soluble fiber, and your good gut bacteria love it, absolutely love it. Then we have our daily multi, which I think these days everybody should be taking a daily multi just to get the very basics of your nutrients in. Then we have our perimenopause and menopause that can be taken alongside HRT. Perimenopause if you are still having periods. Menopause if you've had 12 months of consistently no bleeding at all. And these two supplements will help with reducing many of the menopausal symptoms that go along with it. I want to just say, though, it's not an overnight wonder. It's not the silver bullet. For some people, you can find that they work within 2 weeks, some people within 4 weeks, but often it's 8 to 9 weeks before your body adjusts to the clinical botanicals and the herbal elements of menopause and perimenopause, which is why we have our 60-day money-back guarantee on those supplements so that you can try them without worrying about, well, if they don't work, then I've wasted my money. No, we will give you your money back if you've tried them for the recommended amount of time. Then we have Stay Calm if you're worried about, if you're feeling anxious, Vegan Nights, which will help with your sleep. And then we have advanced menopause bundles that are available on the DR.VEGAN website. So key foods to help with menopause issues. Think of your plate as divided into half and 2 quarters. So eat a palm-sized piece of protein with every meal, and that would be one of your quarters. 25% would be protein. Depending on the size of your hand, that's how much protein, whether you are a meat eater, whether you are a lacto-vegetarian, whether it's beans or lentils, palm-sized piece of protein. This helps to balance your blood sugar and helps to keep your energy levels stable throughout the day. Complex carbohydrates are vital. Complex carbohydrates take a lot longer to digest in the body, and so they release energy slowly. Your simple carbohydrates are the ones that cause the blood sugar spikes and cause all kinds of nonsense. They also combat fatigue by keeping your energy, giving prolonged energy, should I say. Then healthy fats. These are fats that cannot be made by the body. They're essential fats. So they're your omega-3 and anti-inflammatory fats. So you would find those in avocados, in nuts and seeds. If you do eat fish, then you'll find them in oily fish. And they are absolutely essential because they're vital for the brain and also for joint health, as well as being anti-inflammatory. They would also be on your complex carbs and your healthy fats would be on the other 25% of your plate. The other 50% of your plate should be a wide range of rainbow colored vegetables so that you get your phytonutrients, your phytochemicals from your vegetables. Above ground vegetables, preferably, because your complex carbs are your root vegetables. And going into winter, you're looking more at your parsnips, your carrots, your sweet potatoes, your potatoes, butternut, all the squashes. And so those are your complex carbs and also your whole grains. So 50% should be veggies and 25% protein, 25% carbs, complex carbs, and healthy fats. That will help you with weight management. It'll also help you with your moods. It'll help you with brain issues, fogginess in the brain, and all those kinds of things. And just some lifestyle tips to help minimize symptoms. Stay hydrated, wear lighter clothes, layer natural fabrics, as Emma has already spoken about. Reduce your stress levels. Get plenty of rest. That doesn't have to be sleep, rest. When you're not on your phone, you're not scrolling, you're just in the moment. Keep your bedroom cool at night. Practice relaxation. Breathe deeply. If you're stressed, breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, and then breathe out for 7. And you're going to breathe in through your nose, hold it for 4, and then breathe out through your mouth for 7. What that does is it interrupts the stress, the sympathetic nervous system, and it will tell your body that the stressor is over and you can relax. So you'll move out of fight and flight into rest and digest. And you can do it anywhere. You can do it on the train. You can do it in the car. You can do it in the kitchen whilst you're cooking. You can do it whilst the kids are screaming at you. You can do it in between screaming at your partner. But hopefully you don't do that. Book yourself a regular massage or even a regular message. A regular message might be quite good as well. When you say to yourself, I'm amazing, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm amazing. Get out into nature, get moving, and laugh a lot. Laughter is the best medicine. So that's really all I have to add to that. It's been a pleasure to share some inspiration with you all. And I think we're moving to questions, aren't we, Emma?
Yes, correct. Thank you so much for that, Sue. That was really, really helpful. I mean, I definitely learned a lot from that. I'm sure everyone else has too. So yes, correct. We are now going to move to a quick Q&A round. So we've had a couple of really great questions come through. So the first question is for you, Emma, and that is, what can I do if my menopause symptoms are affecting my work and I'm feeling unable to do my job properly?
Okay, so can you hear me okay? Am I back on?
Yeah.
I didn't know if I'd unmuted. So this is a question I get asked quite regularly. Menopausal women are the fastest growing demographic in the UK. 3 in 4 women are actually going through some phase of their menopause. We're an aging community now. We're a population, and more women are staying working later. We've got grown children, but most of us are still working into our 50s and 60s now. 1 in 10 women are affected by their menopausal symptoms while at work. So it's quite a big thing. So firstly, make sure you seek advice from your superior or HR department. They are obliged and they have a duty of care to you as their employee to make sure that you are supported, that they maintain an environment in which you are comfortable and feel able to complete the task and the job and the role that you are employed to do. So, for example, if you are currently sat in the corner of a room where you've got a radiator beside you, no airflow, and you are literally dripping in sweat and your hot sweats are off the scale, you should be permitted to move your desk to somewhere where there's an open window, possibly a fan, and given access to the toilet, for example, if it is that you're finding your bladder isn't as strong as it used to be. Make sure that your working environment is suitable for you to complete the work at hand. If you require more breaks, most jobs will have something in place whereby they will allow you more flexible working hours. Sometimes you may need to go to your GP and get a fit for work note, but make sure that your company has a menopause policy in place. Now, this will cover the rules and regulations as to what they can actually do to support you, how they plan to support you, and it's a little bit like a risk assessment. So it means if you go to them and say, look, I'm really struggling, the toilet is too far away for me to reach there, how can we work around it? They are obligated to find a way and method that works for you to help you manage your symptoms more easily while you're in their care, in their working environment. And maybe set up a champion at work. So a menopause champion in the workplace is someone who has done a course. I offer these courses and I do them regularly with different businesses, both public and private sectors. And we go in and we learn about the menopause, and we have designated people within that company who are the go-to. So if you are struggling with your menopause, you could go and see your menopause champion. They will sit down with you and they will share the knowledge that they have learned and the tools and techniques that we've taught them, and then they go on to share those with the ladies at work. And you tend to find that there's a lovely network of support. You'll find in most offices there are predominantly females, and majority of them are in their 30s and plus. So gather the group together, seek support from your co-workers, because I have no doubt you'll guarantee a few of them will be going through exactly the same thing. Share your experiences, share the support, and don't stop talking. the one thing that we all need to do is to break the taboo. Keep talking about it. Seek help and support where you can, because your employer has a duty of care to you.
Great, thanks so much, Emma. I think this is a really, really important topic, and one that should be addressed. You know, I think menopause should not be seen as a taboo topic in the workplace. So you're right, we all need to be talking about it more. So thanks for shedding some light on that.
That's okay, thank you.
Just on that, a reminder that we also have lots of fantastic information on our website around menopause in the workplace, including what you can do to support as an employer, and also your rights to menopause support as an employee. So do check that out as well. You can find that on the Menopause Hub that I referenced to earlier. So we have time for just one more question. So Sue, this one is for you. And that is, can anxiety be controlled with diet?
Good question. Very good question. Before I answer it, one thing I missed was to say that if you are on any medication, before you add in any supplements, please speak to your GP or your pharmacist if it's going to be more convenient, because there may be some interactions between what's in some of the herbal blends that we do and your medication. And rather do that first. You can find all the ingredients of our supplements on the website, on the relevant pages. You can take a screenshot of that and go down to your pharmacist and say, okay, this is my medication. Would you suggest that I'm okay to take this? Rather be safe than sorry. Anxiety can definitely be controlled through diet. Like I mentioned before, your gut health is paramount for managing your moods, and serotonin is made in your gut. That's your happy hormone. So you want to really make sure that your priority is your gut health. And we would often recommend that you take Gutworks and our Stay Calm, which contains a small amount of ashwagandha and some adaptogens to help with anxiety. But if you're going to be wanting to just do it through diet, then the slide that I referred to earlier, the plate of 50% veg, 25% protein, 25% of your complex carbs and your healthy fats, will also help with the supporting your adrenal glands, deep breathing, all those kinds of things together. Nutrition used to be kind of the only thing that we had, but now we have this whole range of alternative methods, if you like, alternative therapies that really help. There's also tapping that you can do, which is only like 7 minutes. Start with the basis of your diet, then add in supplements if you need to. If you need anything else on top, then do some of these alternative therapies. And you'll find that even just deep breathing and just stepping back and stepping away from the situation, the anxious situation, will help. But yes, there's masses of information on our website on anxiety, lots of things to read, and we really do want people to educate themselves about their own health so that you are empowered going forward in life.
Perfect. Thanks so much for that, Sue. And yeah, just to reiterate, at DR.VEGAN, we're all about educating the consumer first, and we really want to be here to support everyone through their changing health needs right the way through their life. So yeah, please do feel free to check out our website. There's lots and lots of really useful information on there. So that, I think, is all we have time for in terms of the Q&A. So I'm just going to wrap things up now. So just want to say a huge thank you to everyone for taking some time out of your evening to join us. We hope you found it really, really insightful and that you will go away having learned some things. A quick reminder that we will be sending out the recording afterwards. We will also be sending you a free menopause symptoms tracker if you joined us this evening, which contains some exciting exclusive discounts from some of our partner brands, which you can see at the bottom of the slide. We will also be including details in there of our own exclusive discount, which gives all webinar attendees an exclusive 50% off their first 3 months subscription of any of the products within our women's health collection on our website. This will be included in the follow-up email along with the recording of the webinar, but you can also find it in the apps section down on the bottom of your screens now. So you'll see it down on the bottom where the Q&A box is. Just a final reminder that if there are any further questions that you want answered that you didn't want to ask this evening, then please do consult our website, as we mentioned, or reach out to the team or directly to Emma or Sue. Finally, I just want to say a huge thank you to both Emma and Sue for joining us as our host this evening. We've absolutely loved having you both on, and I'm sure everyone else feels the same way. So thank you so much, both of you, for joining.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Emma. It's been great.
You're so welcome. So yeah, all that's left to say is I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their evening, and thank you so much for joining.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Bye.